Hey everyone, it's Deanna. I am about to get started on my series called Use It or Lose It. And before I did that, I wanted to just give a little update of what I've done. So I've already been through a video where I showed selecting the papers. I grabbed a couple of different paper pads and 3 different collection packs. I put them all together, and then I also selected a handful of goodies that you probably can't see this very well, but a handful of goodies that I want to try and use. It's stuff that I really like, or is almost gone, and I just don't want it to get lost in my stash because I have I don't know if you can hear that, my cats are hissing at each other. I have a pre-order coming from a Cherry on Top that is due not to be here until like March or maybe even April. And so I wanted to try and get some use out of a bunch of my stash that I really love and I just haven't had a chance to use it. So just to give a quick update before I get started on the layout, what I did was I went through with some pictures. I like to figure out what the pictures are, then write the journaling on an index card, and then I added paper. And I just basically created a bunch of these little paper kits. So it's pictures, journaling, and paper. And then if there was an embellishment that I knew for sure I wanted to use, like I went through and tried to use up a bunch of these wood veneer alphabets, I put those in there too. So at this point I have 11 kits that I've made, and I really got through a huge chunk of the paper by putting these kits together. And I know I'll end up with scraps and stuff from at the end, but that's okay. I'll just be happy that I have used up a bunch of paper. I added white cardstock to it and a few other sheets, but this is basically all I have left of those 3. Oh, and these are just the top sheets, but out of the 3 collections. And then, like I said, I added a couple sheets that were like Amy Tan that went with the paper pads. I feel like I'm talking really fast because I don't want this video to be too long, but I've really grabbed a bunch out of these paper pads too. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the layout. For this one, I'm actually going to be using a sketch from the Scrapbook Challenges blog. So I'll try to remember to leave an image of that sketch. And yeah, so you can see what I'm going by, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is the sketch that I'm going to be using for this layout. I figured since I'm going to be trying to get through a lot of product over the next month or so, and hopefully finishing a lot of layouts, I thought it would be a good idea to use some sketches, maybe even do some scrap lifting, just because it helps in the process as far as, not stressing out about what the design is going to be. I can spend a long time staring at that blank slate and not really knowing what to do. So a sketch or scrap lifting really is helpful. So I found this website called Scrapbook Challenges. And I really like it. I'm new to it, so I don't know, how familiar others are with it, but I really like it. They have a challenge here and there where you can post your layout after you've done the sketch, and I think they even have some different types of challenges, like almost like ingredient type challenges. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting down the pictures, and I had to remove several pictures from this because it was just too many pictures to fit on a 1-page layout. And so, and then also to make sure that I could fit even those 3 photos, I had to cut them down even more. But and I'm trying to make sure that the center picture, the main picture, is in the middle. And I'm using this as the background. I think I follow this sketch pretty much to a T. There might be a few subtle differences, but for the most part, I follow the sketch. This is the type of paper that I normally have a really hard time using. I like wood grain paper, but these stacks of wood is a little odd for me. But it worked out perfect considering that, I'm doing a layout of all of, the family up at the cabin, my brother's cabin, and we happened to be out by the fire pit, and they caught a fish off the dock. So it works. It works pretty good. And the colors, of course, is good. I'm just trying to even that piece of paper out. And it's almost like an L-shaped design, just going the opposite way. And I do L-shaped designs a lot. Not usually from the other side of the paper, though. I feel like I shouldn't be doing this narration right now. Like, I'm at a loss for words. So anyways, I keep having to adjust that paper because I want it to layer so that you can see all of the sheets of paper and that photo mat. And I just had to move it over a few times. But like that right there is like the basic design. And then from there you can just go ahead and build on the embellishments. And I love that. I love when I get like that perfect base where it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about the design of the layout anymore, or how the paper layers are going to go. Now it's just time to figure out where my title is going to go and put a few embellishments on the page. That's where I start to feel a little bit more confident in what I'm doing, and not stressing so much about how the layout design is going to be. And I guess that's what I like the most about sketches. And in the end, I don't put a ton of embellishments on this page, or at least it doesn't feel like it. But really I have, I have several sheets of paper, and I do use some of the, what are they called? They're from Pebbles, and they're like labels. I do use a couple of those, and I use some more of the paper, like the cut aparts. Right there I'm using that green and making it look like it goes, like it's a longer piece of paper. And then I also used some, they are from, I don't have it written down. They're from, I think a Freckled Fawn kit possibly, but they're little arrows, and they say you and look. I use those. Even use some chipboard stars coming up soon. So I did use kind of a variety of embellishments on the page. It just looks a little flatter, but and here I'm doing the title, and it's just gonna say "So Excited." I know I'm so creative with my titles, right? I don't typically stress about my titles. I just try to grab something that comes from the journaling, because I don't feel like I'm very creative with it, so I try not to stress out about it. My friends and I, when we're at a crop, we kind of joke about, help me with a title, because we both are like, oh my gosh, the title is like so hard to come up with something creative. But I always go with the, I think it was a video that Shamel had done ages ago, when back in the 2 peas in a bucket days, and I think it had to do with titles, and that was one of the ideas that she had, was just to use something from your journaling. So here's where I'm using those chipboard stars. It's nice because the colors, that yellow works out good with the yellow triangle that I had there, so it helps bring some more yellow onto the page. And I'm just kind of going through the embellishments that I had pulled out, trying to see if anything matches. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to use these transparencies. I've been thinking to something that I might want to do for this series is, as I'm kind of going through things, if I find things that I don't think I'm gonna use, or that I just don't see myself using, because I do get not so many anymore, but for a while there I was getting a lot of kits, and so you don't always have a choice on what you're getting in those kits, and so some of it's really nice stuff, but it's just not my style. So I was thinking about putting together kind of a giveaway with some of the items that, you know, I want to make sure somebody gets a chance to use them, and maybe even, you know, something a little nicer, but I'm thinking about doing something like that, so we'll see how that works out. But those transparencies is one thing that I think if I did do it, I would probably add that to it, because they're cute, and they're like blue and yellow and green, I believe, but it's just not necessarily my style. All right, I felt like I needed something to ground the page. If you watch my videos or have seen me do some layouts before, I typically have like a back page where I have like 1/4 of an inch of a border around, and when I don't do that, I feel like the layout's not finished. And I didn't really want to do that on this page, so I thought doing a couple of the border strips, just cutting some strips from that blue paper and putting that on the top and the bottom. It also helps me get some more of that blue on the page. So I thought that worked pretty well. I'm just looking at those pebble stickers some more, and the phrases, I'm running out of, you know, phrases to use, but I want to use them up because I really like them, so I'm going to try to make them fit on the different pages. And this I was really excited about because I decided I was going to make it happen and finish this this embellishment pack. It's literally just some enamel stars. I think they're from Gossamer Blue. And I had yellow and like a light mint green left, so it matched the page really well. So I'm just trying to think of what else is needed, and I'm going to go ahead and add some splatter. Just some black, the Heidi Swap Color Shine. And of course, you know, I'm doing this right away, not even waiting for that stuff to dry, because, you know, I have no patience whatsoever. And you notice I just kind of dropped it? Well, when that happened, I smeared it. So I'm showing you that I smeared it there. I am just infamous for smearing my splatters. But you can hardly tell. For the most part, it worked out great. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.